All right, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night NASCAR exhibition race here at the Coliseum. Hope you've been having a good week so far and a good off season. I know I have, and I am excited to get back to racing. Just finished a Clash on the TV. Super excited to be able to see it here virtually. And in with me in the booth, I have Miss Rhea Ferris. Rhea, how are you doing?
James, I'm doing great. I'm excited to see this race and commentate with you here at the LA Coliseum. What an exciting show that these guys are going to put on for everyone here tonight. Again, in real life, these guys are racing it too out there in Los Angeles. So I really respect the true to NASCAR form that these guys are going to be doing here today. Just kind of replicating a little bit what we saw in the real life NASCAR world.
Yeah, definitely. Which I know what we saw. It's definitely applicable. We talked to William Byron earlier in the week. They talked about the iRacing and how applicable it was, and it turns out it was very applicable. I mean, but what we're gonna see, these guys did a lot of practice laps. Luckily, they had the benefit of doing a little bit more than their counterparts, but adjustments were huge in getting this car to be where it needed to be.
Yeah, it's definitely a totally different animal to drive. And then with this latest update as well, it does put the driver a little bit more in control too, as far as um, adjustments and skill required to really muscle this thing around, especially a track like this where it's kind of a football shaped track on a football in a football stadium. So the irony there, but. No, these cars are a different beast than what we saw in the Gen 6 cars. And then those folks who were running next gen cars to get a feel of them just had a rude awakening and with a new update and going, oh, we need to learn these cars all over again, yet again. So here we are with a lot of folks, brand new track, brand new season, brand new car, paint schemes, I'm sure too. It's just going to be a really fun, interesting race to watch. I mean, obviously, this is a non-points race, so it does give a lot of people a chance to make adjustments going into actual points race next week. But it's still going to be totally worth watching. I mean, this is going to be just sit at the edge of your seat and watch this thing unfold.
Definitely. As we go ahead, they've got only a couple more laps to go in qualifying. You can see in that tower up there, seeing how everybody is doing on their best time so far. Joe Stafford, the championship from last year, is on the pole, so not too surprising. I say, why don't we go ahead and talk to the champion, Rhea? Let me go ahead and grab him and pull him up.
Okay.
Propelled.
Personally, I'm not seeing him.
Yeah, I don't see Joe in here, but I will say that if we do get a hold of him later on, we'll definitely talk to him. But you see they're qualifying. I will go ahead and go over the format of the race. You can see it there live on your screen as well. They're going to qualify and ignore the dates here. Obviously, this is pulled from NASCAR, so they're going to qualify, and that's going to assign their position in the heats. They're going to have 4 heats, which NASCAR might actually decide here to do 3 because of the car count, or even 2. We've seen it's kind of finicky there. And the top 4 are going to advance from each heat. After that, the last chance race, they're going to have 2 last chance qualifiers. Top 3 are going to advance from those, and then we will have the clash with a maximum of 20 drivers here. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Got to work real hard in these heats to make something happen here. We've seen it all the time in dirt. It's going to be fun, as we already got one here. 8 drivers in this heat. I believe we're only going to have 3 heats for sure. As we got Joe Stafford.
And that is yeah, we've got Joe Stafford, Alex Princeton, Barrett Coffey, Randy. Is it Randy Spivey or Spivey?
Spivey. I'll go ahead. I'll take him
Spivey.
over. That's a good comment. You got it. Go ahead.
David Love, Seba Corns, Steve Dardaris, and Kevin Rourke. Uh, 8 cars are taking the grid right now for Heat 1.
Definitely. And here we go. So 8 cars here. I'm going to go ahead and assume that the top 4 are going to make it through. Everybody else is going to go to a last chance qualifier. I will remind you, we are live, both on Facebook and YouTube. You can go ahead and send us some comments. Tell us who your favorite driver is, who you want to see some more of. We will definitely give them some screen time. As I know, I'm always pushing for Joe Stafford at 57 machine.
Yeah, and I've got the live chat up as well, guys. So if you all have any questions or concerns as well, I'll see it and do my best to answer your questions and feed that information over to James as well to get your driver highlighted. But that paint job on the 19 car, James, wow, that has really caught my eye. Driven by Alex Princeton, what a beautiful looking car! I have to really give my round of applause to that car. It is beautiful. But they are about to take the green here. Lights off on the pace car. As we'll call pit road kind of more like center field. as the Joe Spafford gets a nice jump here on the 19 car of Alex. What under caution already? It looks like maybe David Love had an issue here at the start.
Yeah, it's just this sequential transmission. A lot of these guys are not used to the oomph that they have in those lower gears, especially if they've got it geared to run. Hopefully he's not going to be trapped a lap down there, but I mean, I guess if he is, he's going to get the whip around. So, yeah, Joe Stafford, Alex Princeton, Barrett Coffey, Randy Spivey, and then David Love taking that big dip there. But you said it earlier and about the paint jobs and everything. That's the good thing about these new composite bodies, and I don't know if they're going to mention it or if iRacing has really followed it, but those bumpers should stay on. Everything should stay pretty much where it's supposed to be for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them get smashed up earlier in a league race I was in, and yeah, I didn't see any missing bumpers. Or I know, like one of our fellow commentators likes to call it a pavement modified. Didn't see that in our IROC race earlier, and so maybe they'll look a little bit better once they're damaged. But I did hear that you will get a meatball flag very easily in these cars. They're quite delicate. So just because they're not looking broken necessarily on the outside doesn't mean that they aren't on the inside. So something to keep in mind. The false illusion of the aesthetics may say something that is otherwise different. So as it looks like they're going to try this one more time here. Joe Stafford yet again still in P1. Outside is Alex Prince and Barrett Coffey right there in P3 in that number 4 Busch Ford, as we're going to get ready to take it the green here one more time. And that is Joe Stafford with a nice jump yet again in that 57 machine as he goes around turn 1 onto the backstretch here at LA Coliseum. Nice lead going into turns 3 and 4 as now Barrett Coffey running now in P2. We stack them up a little bit now. It looks like we've got quite a bit of changes back here according to SDK, but it is still Joe Stafford up front. Barrett Coffey in P2 right now. Alex Princeton in 3rd and Randy Spivey in 4th position.
Yeah, Joe Stafford getting off to he's running 13.7s, which is very quick. Barrett Coffey there in 2nd. Alex Princeton, like you said, Randy Spivey. The top 4 pretty much going off on their own. They don't really need to worry about Kevin Rourke, Seba Cornez, Steve Dardarius. They're pretty much just battling for their position in the last race, or the last chance qualifier at this point.
Yeah, and Joe Stafford is running away with this one. He has already a 2.5 second gap on 2nd place Barrett Coffey now. You can tell somebody did their homework. Joe Stafford definitely, you can tell he's been around this block a time or two with practice laps, probably all week long preparing for this one. This guy knows exactly his braking points. and just not even fluster behind that 57 machine right now. As we do have a caution come back out. Kevin Rourke looks like he may have had trouble there in that 99 machine. Let's see if he went round and round here somewhere in that. Is that a Propel team sponsor car? Yep, he did. It coming off a 3 into 4 there. Hooked it right and gets it back spinning around and facing the right direction. So no harm, no foul really there. Just glad to see that nobody else was stacked up in that one.
Definitely looks like he's going to take that thing to the pits for now. Get done with that. I don't know if they're allowing them to go to the pits, get some damage fixed, and come out. I know this is a league that does no fast repairs. No, they have open setups. Pretty much, they run a full NASCAR schedule. You would know something about that, Rhea.
Yes.
It's a grueling schedule.
It is. You know, I took some heat earlier today, too, because, I mean, we were running COTA today, and, you know, I got thrown under the bus by a couple of drivers that were just, well, we didn't necessarily have to stay true to NASCAR. You know, we could have just did this, that, and the other. And I'm like, but, I mean, we're running true paints. We're running true teams, you know. I mean, it just, why would I throw a fictional track in here just to appease some, you know? I didn't like running COTA. I got P19, but it just is what it is. We're all going to have our favorite tracks. We're all going to have our worst tracks. And it is grueling. And when you have open setups, there's a lot of education there behind it. I prefer the open setups, but we unfortunately voted for not in our league. But I commend these guys for doing it. It's true to NASCAR form, and you learn a lot about the cars, the gearing, the braking, the handling, everything, and you become more one with the machine that you're driving, and brings that sense of realism back into the simulator, because where it's you know, computer generated already in so many different ways, at least you have a little bit more control over that computer generation with your maneuverability. Obviously, Joe Stafford has his car completely dialed in, as I said earlier. So be excited to see how this truly pays off for him. But Barrett Coffee will line up on the outside of him once we do go back to green here, and Alex Princeton in that beautiful number 19 machine there still. Right, right.
Joe Stafford getting it wrong.
Really?
Right off the bat. Broadcaster's curse talking about that.
Yeah.
Take a look here. Is the restart zone.
And that was my bad. I didn't have it quite set up for. I was on just a half a second delay coming off that replay, and I didn't quite. So you caught it before me, but yeah, I got it all wrong. Looks like he may have spun his tires there in that restart.
Yeah, when we're here, let's take a look at what the weather's like here in California. We've got some wind, 71 degrees. It's very nice, 20% clouds, temperature of 78 degrees. Your tires are going to cool down very quickly here once you have to take these pace laps. So maybe getting into a little bit of that, a little bit of tire wear mixed with that heat cycle. We talk about heat cycles. This is one of those tracks where heat cycles are really going to become important. And
yeah, you said there's a track temperature. I'm trying to read that on my phone. Is that a 78 degrees?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that is a little bit warm, especially with full sun. Will cause these tires to get a little greasy out there compared to an overcast, cooler day. So, no, it's not summertime type of hot, but it's definitely adding a flavor, if you will, to the race, which is exciting. Just one more thing that the drivers need to take into consideration here. You know, and I'm assuming they run live weather like we do as well in my league, because it does seem to be pretty comparable to what's exactly happening over there right now. So that's really neat too. So they've generated it pretty well. So Chris Claude and the group of admins have done a fantastic job with this league so far, from what I can see, and I definitely salute them for putting all that hard work into not only developing the league, but running these drivers and getting everything good to go, because it's a lot of work. I'm a league owner and it's endless work. So I'm pleased to be here and to kind of see what you guys do, and we are back to green here now as Barrett Coffee is going to go ahead and take the command. And the 4 car gets it all wrong going to turn 1, and gets it all wrong again on the backstretch. Spins in front of a couple of cars, collects a little bit of damage from a couple passersby. Still struggling to get it back going. Tough break for the 4 machine.
Yeah, as we were on board with Seba Cornez when that happened, so we got to see it happen all right in front of him. A lot of heavy hitters here. Getting it wrong is Barrett Coffee there. Does his initial and then trying to get back into it, like you said, just gets it squirrely. And luckily that's all. Oh, that's not all. It's that inside safer
Yeah, there was
barrier.
then after that he spins it again going through the gears. Yeah, and he collects a little bit of the 16 machine. Yeah, and then kind of takes a nosedive into the. You can just tell it's frustration at this point for the 4 machine. I feel for him. I did 150 laps myself at this track earlier today. It's tiresome and it's frustrating especially if you don't have your car quite dialed in. Um, and even then, the track changes with these temperatures. So, um, a lot to learn here at this track, and I think the NASCAR drivers in true life too. They in real life they learned a lot today as well.
Definitely. And we did just hear from race control. There is time limits on these. They're not going to let them run forever. And there's only about 3 minutes left in this particular heat race.
Okay.
So if that time does go out, what's going to happen is they're going to stop the race the next time around, kind of like you would in a road course. And then the leader getting to the line is going to have it. So they should have that information up. I know the spotters are telling them when to expect that white flag, but it looks like they're not going to make it as the pace lights go off. Randy Spivey, Alex Princeton, Seba Cornez, and don't look now, but I think Joe Stafford there in 4th has made his way back up into a transfer spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Randy Spivey, definitely he's up 3 positions here, and I'm sure he's excited for this restart as they are back to green now. Down the across the stripe in the turn 1. Woo! That 22 machine gets it all wrong. He goes nose diving into the outside retaining wall, gives up the lead now to 19 machine driven by Alex Princeton in that Toyota Camry, as he is going around turns 1 and 2 into the backstretch, brings Joe Stafford in the 57 machine with him. Seba Cornez running now P3 in the 16 machine, and Steve Dardaris in number 3 car. So, yeah, Alex Princeton now trying to hold off Joe Stafford here on the backstretch, going back up front here, as Joe Stafford's definitely putting the heat on. The 19 machine is going down inside the 19, doesn't quite get it done here on this lap. And Joe Stafford now trying to regain that P1 position that he once had earlier before a mishap. And Joe Stafford does this with ease, grabs P1 once again here. James, wow, just finesse by that 57 machine.
Definitely being able to get down in that corner and work out of it, as we're seeing Steve Dardaris and Randy Spivey. This is the battle on the field that really is going to come into effect later on, as this is the battle for the transfer spot. As we only have 2 seconds left here, it's going to go white flag in the air here for Joe Stafford.
And it's coming down
Checkered.
to, yeah, and the 22 machine just barely dives in underneath. And who officially got that transfer spot?
Steve Dardaris got that.
Okay.
So going over the results, here we go from Heat 1. We have Joe Stafford, Alex Princeton, Siva Cornez, and Steve Dardaris making it straight through. And we got Kevin Rourke, Barrett Coffey with some unfortunate incident, and David Love there in the first lap, getting it a little sideways there. Now, we got another race for you. So you blink and it's here. We've got the grid. It's going to be RJ Root there in first. Ryan Samuelson, the teammate at FFR, sitting there in second. William Fink there in third. John S. Bilwalda in fourth in that 51 machine. Then we got Bob Nestor, Chris Claude, and Andrew Layton, and Tony Burt finishing us out here. Not making it to the track yet, trying to make it through that LA tunnel.
Yeah, so I'm not too familiar. I'm not too experienced with the heats. So I'm glad to be in on this and learn as we go. I appreciate you knowing what you're doing as far as these heats go. So it's cool. It's interesting to see. So now we have a whole fresh batch of guys that are going to race now, and then we're going to have another heat, and then it's a feature, or we're going to a feature after this one.
Yeah, as these heats, they're interesting. I like, because you couldn't have 40 cars on this track. We saw that you could barely have 20.
Right.
So to have these heats, what it does is it gets everybody out there stretched out. You have to earn your way in. It makes every race intense. It makes every race matter. And another thing that you hear, when I was listening to the radio earlier with William Byron, he was saying, I forgot to breathe. You got to be careful here, especially those guys in VR, those guys who are pushing. You got to be careful to remember to breathe, as this is not a Bristol where you have a backstretch to do it. So green flag is out here. RJ Root going to take the lead. Gets a huge jump on his teammate Ryan Samuelson. Ryan Samuelson trying to dive to the outside, and we already got one full sin mode. John Espelwalda, he is going to recover. Up front, RJ and Samuelson going to take it away. This bottom line so dominant. William Fink learns that as he's trying to get by the number 93, or 51, I'm sorry. Not too far back is Bob Nestor, the SNN Truck Series champion last year in the 29 machine. He's going to try and get to the back bumper of John Espelwalda.
Indeed, RJ Root still in P1 right now. Already got a 1 second advantage over P2 Ryan Samuelson. Ryan Samuelson driving that number 81 machine there. Just, keeping it clean as well, and staying in the transfer spot, or in the transfer, eighth transfer spot, I should say. And then William Fink right here in the 93 machine at his back door as well. And Bilwalda runs out in the fourth position. As you said, Bob Nestor, though, is starting to close in a little bit here on that 51 machine. I think he's got something still up his sleeve.
Yeah, as Ryan Samuelson just put down the fastest lap of the race with a 13.82. He's going to be trying to catch the teammate. Bob Nestor, Chris Claude in the Dasani 10 machine. That is a new paint job that looks pretty slick for our leader. Tony Burt coming from the pits in the 72 machine. That primer gray. As we already got a pass. Ryan Samuelson trying to make it on the outside of RJ Root. Nothing doing there as we got a car around. A lot of cars around.
Well, yeah, it looks like William Fink, it might have started with him in the 93 machine. And indeed he did, exiting turn 4. Goes nose to nose with the 29 machine at the start-finish line. Almost collects Chris Claude in the mix. Chris Claude able to get on the brakes just in time to not grab any damage from that mishap. But tough break for the 93 machine as well as the 29 in this one.
Yeah, you got to channel your inner Tokyo drift. Get that thing whipped around in time, it looks like. Then
yes, indeed.
Tony Burt almost letting RJ Root know what he really thinks of him.
Yeah, that'll happen now and again.
As they have nothing really to fight about, I think he was just trying to get up there and make sure he had the opportunity to get his lap back. Like to appreciate our sponsors. Of course, Davis Brothers Roofing, DBR. They are our title sponsor for Sunday Night NASCAR. As well as, and I'm doing this all from memory from last year, folks, so bear with me here as I get back where I need to be. Outkast Sim Paints, Buttkicker, and of course, On Target Performance Group, which is a group that these guys used to have, but we still appreciate them. Davis Brothers Roofing, of course, they're providing homeowners and businesses with exceptional roofing services since 1983, as well as, of course, Buttkicker, Outkast Sim Paints, and Inville Insurance Group. We appreciate all you guys for what you do. Keep this league on the air.
Yeah, we do appreciate that very much. It means a lot to these guys, and you know, to the iRacing world itself. You know, sponsors are important, and you know, having them, you know, be the support of a league like this definitely goes a long way, and it's definitely a rewarding thing to be a part of. Outcast, it's the 804 Outcast says, "Go, let's go FFR and Team Edge." And Alex Murray in the chat says, "Both Edge setup cars. Proud setup builder here." Is the number 8 RJ Root takes the green flag once again here, going in turns 1 and 2. 81 machine of Ryan Samuelson right there in P2, running behind him. And Bawalda in third in the 51 machine, but he's got heat from Chris Claude. Chris Claude, it's closing in on that 51 machine. I mean, he's right on the bumper. Chris Claude definitely wanting to try and get P3 here any moment. Definitely going to have a battle here in no time.
Yeah, as we're seeing that left front heat up and lock up here, which is usually you want to see the right front, but because of this package and what they've got going on, we're seeing them a lot more of that left front locking up and kind of pushing the car to the outside. As I know Chris, he is a stand-up guy here. I don't think he's going to resort to having to push for a P3 if he knows he's already in. But he's going to have to hurry because Robert Nestor is right behind him in the 29 machine, and he is eyeballing that transfer spot. As for RJ Root and Ryan Samuelson, I don't know if I like the 8 car on Raymond Root. I want to see that 69 we got to see all season last year. As the 72, Tony Burt gets it all wrong there in front of RJ Root. But I do understand the 8 machine. I remember last season he did race that for his grandfather. So, yeah, I'm going to think about him again. That was a big part of RJ's life.
And we do have Bob Nestor on pit road. Not sure what's going on with the 29 machine, but I did see him duck down on the pit road there, unless he's just getting service.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to. We got 9 laps to go here. I want to double check with what kind of time we've got. 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So it looks like they are going to make it on laps. Laps are only taking about 14 seconds here. As Chris Claude making his way. He's got the transfer spot. Everybody else pretty spread out. Raymond Root, Ryan Samuelson, Don Bawalda, and Chris Claude. So, folks, we did go to the next gen. We've been talking about it pretty exclusively. A lot of difference in these cars. Namely, the front end is a lot more complicated. They went to that rack and pinion set, which is much more twitchy. You can adjust a lot more on it. And then a lot of things that the people don't mention as much. That independent rear suspension has so much to do with the handling of these cars and what adjustments you can make. They've said in the pits that you can make drastic changes in a very short amount of time if you wanted to with that. You know, the track bar, wedges, all that stuff is a thing of the past. You can still wedge it, but the track bar, you don't need a track bar with the independent rear suspension.
Does this mean that we won't be seeing cars doing any crabbing anymore with this gen?
No, they can't. They can adjust it that way, but it's very against the rules.
Okay.
They tested it.
Gotcha.
If you watched, I think it was Reddick in the testing at Charlotte. He had about an 8-degree cant on that machine. As with 2 to go here, William Fink has caught Chris Claude. He's going to go to the inside. I don't know if he caught Chris sleeping or what, but Chris with the clean machine, he's going to be stuck on that outside line. Can he get the crossover here for the final lap? As Ryan Samuelson has passed Raymond Root as well. RJ going to try for his crossover. Nothing doing there. Gawalda, no issues. And Chris Claude is going to make it to the bottom of the 93 if he can get a good run off here, and he doesn't.
Oh!
He saw the finish line, tried to run before he had the catch. Unfortunate for Chris there. He's going to be playing...
that 10 machine. He saw... Oh. When you can see the finish line and not cross it, oh, that's just heartbreaking. Oh, definitely. So we had 4 transfer in. So that's fortunate break for Chris, though. We do have some more people in the chat. Just saying good luck to everybody, and we've been working hard between the league and the setups for these guys and selling our weekly stuff. So appreciate it, Alex Murray, for chiming in there. Getting ready to roll out another grid here. Austin Story will take the button here. JC Gibson, Nolan Hodgson, Dave Regal, Nicholas Bradenbach, Jarrett Small, and Chad Sanner will be in this feature here. Those 7 drivers getting ready to take the green here in just a few moments. So hopefully this one will be clean and green, and these drivers will have a shot at making it in.
Definitely. Austin Story there up front, one of the final 4 last season with Barrett Coffee. As Austin Story, JC Gibson, like you said, 1-2. We're going to see, we haven't really seen a lot of our faster cars with similar lap times up front, but we've got a taste. So to see how dominant this inside line is going to be is, there we go, the 23 car, Austin Story getting a really good jump. That's going to bring Nolan Hodgson. JC Gibson caught sleeping there on the outside just a tad. That inside line is going to freight train him, as I was talking about it. Dave Regal now going to get on the, trying to work on the inside of Nolan Hodgson, who I don't know if he's trying for an outside pass or he got tight.
Yeah, Nolan was even peeking in there in the center there, almost going 3 wide in that last lap. I was like bracing myself here, but as of right now, Austin Story running away with it in that number 23 Bubba Wallace themed number 23 machine there. And then you've got Dave Regal now in the 21 machine running P2, Nolan Hodgson third as they come around to the backstretch once more here. Nicholas Bradenbach now in P4 in that final transfer spot, holding it on to... as we have a caution, it looks like Jarrett Small had an issue in that 17 machine, which go check him out. It looks like he may have got involved in something here. 17 machine did get it broken loose at the start-finish line. Taps that inside retaining wall, but I have a feeling there might have been something else going on. Nope, he got loose again on the backstretch. And looks like that 17 machine just having a bad lap, and he'll get it collected back here and get it wound back up and get ready to take the green here again in just a moment.
Definitely. And hey, shout out to all our setup shops out there. We're looking to partner with somebody. Hit us up. We're always hustling. We got about 17 shows a week, including Sunday Night NASCAR. And Rhea, my personal favorite, ISNF. ISNF. Don't ask me what it stands for.
iRacing Sunday Night Fever.
Yes, exactly. Well, I told you not to ask me because I'd embarrassed you by knowing it.
Although I'm leaning more toward now calling it kind of the National Sunday Night Fever. We have gone such a turn for a worldly uh, uh, basically grid where we have so many different countries represented. I almost feel like we have the Olympics going on in our league now. So it is just awesome to embrace diversity in such a way that iRacing allows us to. And but this league here that we're covering here at a Sunday Night NASCAR League SNN looks like they are definitely stacked up too with a nice roster of fine drivers. And again, my hats off to the owner because I know all too well how much work it entails and how many times your phone or computer lights up notifications asking questions that can easily be found in the Discord. Um, so we know, don't we, Chris? But awesome story. We'll take the green once more here as he gets that nice jump. And looks like the 54 machine gets a little bit door checky there on the 21 going into turn 1.
Door checky. You heard it here first, folks.
Door check. I do have my own type of lingo. I am from different places, and 51 gets it all wrong. Was that the 54 or 50?
Oh, it was the 4-car pileup here. 5-car. Nicholas Breidenbach getting involved in Dave Riegel and JC Gibson's issues.
Oof.
Dave unhappy with the way he was being raced, it looks like. That's going to get him a little sideways. Let's take a look at where that all started. He was trying to get to the back of the 54.
I think it started with Dave Riegel in the 21 initially. He got it all wrong coming out of 2, got up against the 27 because the 27 just didn't give him enough room on that backstretch to get off that wall. He pretty much sandwiched him right into the wall. And when that happened, it basically kind of forced a couple other cars to get involved ahead of them as well. It was just a nowhere to go for a lot of these drivers here, unfortunately. But that 21, in his defense, he was trying to come off the fence, and the 27 just wasn't having it. And as I said before the race, I am a little opinionated. I will give my opinion on what I think might have happened, and I say might have it loosely here. You guys can make the calls on your replay, but as I see it, looks like the 21 was trying to come off the fence. 27 wasn't letting him do so, and it kind of caused a little bit of a melee there. So we'll try and get him collected back up once more, and we'll see what we can do again here in the closing laps of Heat 3.
Yeah, and see about all that. We'll watch the green flag run from where Dave Riegel's starting on that outside line. Because we do have some time here as the LA Coliseum. Cautions are wicked here. Gets a bad start. And then just gets bumped as the 54 gets tight. Tries to get to the back of the 54, and that's where he got probably 2 or 3 times.
Is that where that was after the door checky, right?
Yes. That was after the official iRacing turn door checky. As Austin Story is going to get started here, green flag in the air. Nolan Hodgson has found his way up on the outside. Chad Saner in 3rd. Jarrett Small in that final transfer spot 4th. Just to go over what those transfer spots mean. As Austin Story gets the bumper, that's going to slow him down.
21 spins out completely there in that back end of the track there. So Nolan Hodgson now, 54 machine up front. P1 now. Austin Story in P2. Chad Saner in 3rd now. And Breidenbach now in 4th in the final transfer spot. Tough break for a couple of these drivers tonight, but and the 17 takes advantage of the 24 slipping a little bit in that final turn. And they go side to side, door to door, just like short track racing should be. 17 and 24. 24 fights back. Nicholas Breidenbach turns a 17 car all the way around. No caution as of yet. Wonder if that was a little bit of revenge. Now the caution finally does come out. boy, oh boy, some excitement here. Short track racing at LA Coliseum. Tempers are flaring out there. I'm sure some people are definitely getting heated out there. What do you think, James?
You know, Nicholas Breidenbach's one of those that really started off last season kind of a dark horse, hung out, and then had an absolutely fantastic run to be in the final 8 of the championship last year. So for Nick, I don't think that was intentional. I think what we're seeing is, like you said, we're seeing short track racing, and we're seeing guys that aren't used to being side by side with somebody going through a 75-degree turn over and over and over again. So once they get there, they kind of push a little bit, is what I'm seeing, and then that turns into overdriving and doing what we just saw. Which, when I say overdriving, I want you at home and I want you, Rhea, to know that I would 100% have already been in the pits from spinning it 4 times myself.
Yeah, and it's a tough track to handle. My arms are exhausted from that race, and I didn't even finish on the lead lap. So I was multiple laps down, so I didn't even really race the full 150, and it's exhausting to do that 75-degree turn. And when you've got a car and you're outside, there's not a lot of room. It looks like there is on camera, but and it looks like there's 3 lanes, but you don't want to be in that top lane going in those corners. A wall's right there, and at a 75-degree angle, chances are you're going to hit that wall and you're going to get an incident count. And I'm not sure. Does this league have an incident count cap at all? As we go back to green here with Hodgson.
Yeah, they do have. I know that incidents you do get charged points just for the overall series. Now I think on the exhibition they're kind of letting that slide. There's gonna be a lot of incident points flying around here, but to stay competitive in the cup, you have to have completed races without issues. As the 17 sends Nicholas Breidenbach, that's Jarrett Small, overdrove the corner there a little bit. We're gonna see what happened there. As he locked up. And that's what it looks like. You know, if you put this on a 0.5 or a 1 mile, that's 100% a dump. But if you put that in the perspective that these guys are running, you know, a quarter mile in under 13, 14 seconds, and that lockup, it happens so quickly, because this isn't even. I mean, look at the shape of this little thing they built here in California.
It's in a football stadium. You know, a football shaped type of track, or a paperclip, whatever you want to call it, miniature Martinsville. There's a lot of different little nicknames or theories you could come up with as far as what the shape of this thing is, but it's definitely an experiment. It's a fun one. You know, and it is definitely more of a marketing, you know, idea more than it is anything else. But I think it's exciting, at least, to just see what these new next gen cars can do, and then add a new track on top of it. And it's just unfortunately for this particular heat, it's created a little bit more melee than they probably wanted. But again, like you just said, you can't really blame the drivers. They're in a new car, new track, new environment. It's just good thing it is an exhibition race. Good thing you know what I'm saying? So They do have that, at least. They can kind of sleep better tonight knowing they're not going to have negative points and all the bruising going forward into the rest of the season carried with it. But as the 59 is definitely pushing the 54, he's excited for the green flag, because as the 54 finally does go ahead and get away with it, as there's another dump, a quote-unquote dump, 17 into 24, yet again in turns 1 and 2, and they're trying to get it back set. It seems to be these two cars going round and round all the time. But again, I think you're right. It's not intentional. It was just an unintentional dump. But
I don't even know if this one was a dump. Let's take a replay. Oh, you are correct. Yeah. Did get
Yeah,
into the back there a little bit.
yeah, he did. And the 17 just decided to go ahead and put it in the center field and call it good.
Because
As it just,
this may end under caution. Because if we look at the time,
yeah, that's true. We don't
they
have much more to go.
they might give him one more moment. Get this thing.
As of right now, would be J.C. Gibson in the fourth spot that would transfer in, right? Chad Sanner, Austin Story, and Nolan Hodgson as it stands.
Yes, I believe so. And guys, I do know if you are watching, you're wondering, hey, where's all the timing? Where's all the stuff that tells me where everything is? iRacing is notoriously bad at the timing and scoring, or one of the two products we use for A, heat races, and B, quarter mile and under tracks. We see it all the time in dirt. It's notoriously bad at understanding what's going on. So, Rhea, if you were wondering why you see a bunch of red on your screen, don't adjust your television set. That is normal for the service that we use for that to happen.
As in, like, certain people crashing and that report. Is that what you're referring to?
It has iRacing live timing and storing has no clue what's going on at a quarter mile in the first heats. It fixes itself, but we're trying to keep you guys updated on where everybody is. Our tower has every single person in it.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our consolation round, correct?
Yep, so our third heat is over. We are now here at the consolation round. Those who finished fifth, you're going to see them. They're going to be up front. Randy Spivey, Chris Claude, and Dave Regal. Then we got Kevin Rourke, Tony Burt, Nicholas Breidenbach. He's got a little bit of a distance, luckily, between himself and Jared Small. Not because there's any bad blood there, but there are two magnets in the bumpers of those cars that want to get together. Barrett Coffey there in the 7th, Bob Nestor in the 8th, and Jarrett Small in 9th. And if I'm not mistaken, this actually may be the only consolation race we see here. And if they're taking 20, then the 8 cars are going to advance. Let me double check here in a replay screen.
And I'm showing a David Love and an Andrew Green in P10 and 11. Is that actually the case, or is that just overlay gremlins?
One moment. Okay, yep. So I'll get to that real quick. This is going to be a 50-lap feature. 10 drivers are going to advance.
Okay.
So the top 10 really just have to hang out. I think that's only going to leave one person out to dry. So once we have a race, they might just go ahead and tell them to run this thing out. And
yeah,
so what was it? David Love and Tony Burt. What was the question?
Andrew, yeah, there was a David Love and an Andrew Layton showing up on the screen too, running P10 and 11, but I don't know if they're actually on the track.
No, they are not. Tony Burt's in the infield.
Randy Spivey taking the green flag though as they go around 1, the 4, and the 10. Door check each other unintentionally there as things are starting to get heated up already. 3 wide in the turn 3 and 4 as the 17 comes out on top of that battle. Somehow they came unscathed. That very, very talented drivers.
Oh!
As we have a spin with the 21 machine, gets it all wrong and goes around a little bit like a windmill. Taking a look at that replay, that was a 21 machine driven by Dave Regal.
Sitting in second position, trying to battle for the lead. Gets it just a little bit of...
Yep, overdrives it, cut off the corner, collects a little piece of the 17 machine, gets that left rear damage on that number 21 Toyota Camry, and it could have been worse. It could have been much worse, for those bunch. But I'm glad that it was just one car really getting involved in that. And as the 21 did look like he was trying to get in the pit road just now, that is a tough monster, especially if you're if your field of view is set where it's forward quite a bit, you have your A pillar right there on your left, and it's blocking the entire entryway into the pit road. Um, so you almost have to use Yoda and the Force to find pit road at this track. That's another really, really tough battle for these guys, is just trying to get familiar with how to get in and out of pit road without causing incident. So it's in a bad spot as far as that opening goes. Personally, I would have put it at the exit of well, I'm sorry, the entrance of turn 3 instead of the exit of 4. But that's just me. I don't know why they chose that spot, but your opinion on that?
My opinion was they had only one place they can put it where everyone was going to be safe to get in and out of it. They knew they're not going down pit road under green.
17 spins and jacks them up all the way, stacks them all the way around the bend. Caution comes out again. That looks like it might have been just, again, wrong gear going in that corner. Driven by Jarrett Small. I'm sure Jarrett's got to be pretty exhausted at this point, trying to just get in the feel of this new track and this new car. It takes some time. He'll get it, you know. It's just, I guess it just comes down to how much practice you put in. But then when you throw a bunch of cars on the track too, it doesn't matter how much practice you actually had. Yeah, you might be fast, but you're gonna still have other cars kind of in the way. So, but it'll be Randy Spivey once again taking the green once we do go back. Right now, we've got, is that Spivey? Oh, my timing just really messed up here. Yeah, it is Spivey. Okay, that would be Bob Nestor running P2. Jarrett Small will line up 3rd, Tony Burt 4th, and Chris Claude 5th. As lights are still on the pace car. And
so we might be running this thing under caution the whole time.
well, with this many cars in the track too, it just makes it so much more hard to. Yeah, I'm not sure what these guys are doing. Well, lights are off now, officially on the iRacing pace car. So I'll be going back to green here momentarily.
As Randy Spivey, Bob Nestor, Jarrett Smalls, who I got on my screen as leading this thing around so far. Try and get this thing working for you. So the tower is working. So green flag is out there. Randy Spivey getting a really good jump.
Yeah, that is a big jump, as the 17 machines waste no time either for P2. Jarrett Small grabs that nice lead in front of P3 as, wow, the 17 and the 22 of Spivey are now set a distance ahead of everyone else. Chris Claude now the next man to do exactly what those two guys in front of him were trying to do, and brings the number 4 machine of Barrett Coffee with him in that Busch Light machine as they go around turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch here at LA Coliseum once again. Bob Nestor putting a little bit of heat on the back of the 4, but is trying to be patient. It's still a long race ahead, and doesn't want to, force anything too soon. As Randy Spivey still up front here, making his way back around across the start-finish line to lead yet another lap. Jarrett Small, like I said, still running P2 here, only about a second back. So we've got about a second that separates 1 and 2, and then another second between 2 and 3, and then it's kind of just bumper to bumper traffic from that point back. So we'll see how these guys can do, and keeping it clean and green, hopefully, here for a while for you.
As I
And
believe they're really not what they're racing for right now. I'm not saying they're racing for nothing. They are racing for the track position when they do get to the feature. So that 11 of 50 laps there, it does matter to them. They are going to have a pretty good spot. But Brandy Spivey, Jarrett Small, Barrett Coffey, Chris Claude, and Nicholas Brighton back there. Oh, Bob Nestor gets it sideways. He's going to gather that up. And then Tony Burt. Those are the only drivers that are actually on the track right now. And I just saw why. You asked me earlier, why do you think they put pit entrance there? That's because that's where the tunnel is, the LA tunnel. So they can go straight down there. You guys see that?
So where would the tunnel actually come out? Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying about the tunnel. Duh. Okay. Yeah.
So, and that actually is closed up in real life, because that is a huge margin of error for a car spinning into a bunch of folks. You did watch the clash. It was a pretty good showing. You know, I saw that there was a lot of people doubting what was going to happen there, but you know, I've said it in the podcast. With change, you're going to get some naysayers. You're going to get some people that don't want it to work right. But I feel like they did it in a way that, hey, it accomplished what they wanted it to accomplish. They got people that would never be able to go to a NASCAR event. They got them in the stands. I think it was overall good for the general population of the sport. Probably not the diehard fans. I also have heard some devil's advocate where, hey, I wish they would have came to my home track if they're gonna do this, but really wouldn't have generated the buzz that the LA Coliseum did.
Very true. You know, I think, like I said earlier, it was an experiment, and you know, maybe they're onto something. Maybe they go to revamp Bowman Gray and you know, bring it back to the roots of NASCAR. You know, back in North Carolina, and you know, try that again, or you know, maybe they restore you know, some of those older tracks, like I said, you know, you were saying too. And but change of subject, I'm watching the brake rotors and calipers just completely flame up with these new wheels on these next gen cars, just turning flaming orange, going in and out of these corners, and it's just a sight to see compared to the Gen 6s. What are your thoughts on that? Have you noticed that as well?
So these brakes are actually more efficient. The big brakes on the next gens, they're a larger brake, a better caliper, and you have a lot more air getting to them. What's happening here at the LA Coliseum is those brakes, they're not getting as much air through those ducts because they're only topping out about 65, 70 miles an hour, and then they have to get back down to 40. You're braking almost, maybe 30% of the time you're on this track, maybe more. So you're putting a lot of friction in that tire, you're putting a lot of friction in those brakes. In addition, these drivers are probably not adjusting their brake bias as much as the NASCAR drivers had to do during their races. So they're probably pretty heavy front brake bias right now until that fades out.
I just think it's a sight to see. It's pretty neat looking, and I'm sure you know, it goes under the lights too at certain tracks. Oh man, that's gonna look really pretty.
Yeah, and another thing of note there is the reason you didn't see that on the last cars is just because that wheel was so thick and kind of you could see the glowing when they went to Sonoma, Coda, things like that. But what really does it for these things is just how on display they are. Kind of like, and William Byron even said that it was. I keep bringing up William Byron. I don't know why. Probably because it was the only press conference I actually watched. But he said it's a lot like a limited late model, or a super late asphalt machine, and the way it handles and the way it brakes. And then I heard Joseph Lester, one of our guys, he said it's a lot like that mixed with you throw a GT3 underneath it. So this is what you get when you put a bunch of road course parts on the cars, because that's where NASCAR's going. Right, wrong, or indifferent, they're bringing in more road courses. They're bringing in more of the short tracks because that's what fans asked for 10 years, and now they got a car that can do them. And everyone, it's going to take a while for people to get used to them, but I think overall we're going to see them shine at the road courses.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's just a totally different animal, but they're starting to grow on me. I was completely 100% against them when they first rolled them out. I think
they were terrible.
Yeah, but they've gotten a little bit better, and I trying to accept the fact that this is the direction we're going. But I'm quite old school. For those of you who don't know me, for those of you who do, I'm very Winston Cup era minded, and even in my league, all 6 of our series, with exception, well, actually, so 5 out of the 6 series, because Indy series, obviously, we don't run NASCAR. Oh, the 29 gets it all wrong, and it brings out a little bit of a caution there. I think I don't know why a caution really came out there for that 29. But we run Winston Cup points, and then we do kind of an old-fashioned, just top 12, make it into the chase, and then they race it out. No brackets or playoff type segments and things. But some people find that to be a little bit more straightforward and easier to follow. I know for one, it's much easier for me to follow it. But I'm going to learn a lot from this series and how real life NASCAR modern day is doing it, and I'm excited to help commentate this season and learn a lot more about modern day NASCAR and the way things go. Maybe then I'll decide at the end of the season, hey, I like modern day NASCAR, or I still like Winston Cup type stuff. So we'll see what this year brings as far as changing my mind. I know personally I'm going to be at Daytona Speed Weeks here in the next, actually, I need to start packing tomorrow, and I leave next weekend. I'll be down for Speed Weeks the entire week. I have tickets for everything down there, and I'm going to be able to see these next gen cars in person, and I'm going to be able to kind of, really, really do a walk around and look at all the little details of these cars. Maybe they'll grow on me even more then.
I tell you what, they did look good at the Coliseum when they rolled them out. I don't know what it was for the feature, if they put some glam on that camera or not, but they looked absolutely slick. As Barrett Coffee is now gonna, I think we got to talk about the race a little bit. I kind of got us off on a tangent there, but that's my fault. Barrett Coffee gonna lead them around. Jarrett Small, Nicholas Breidenbach, and there's a lap car, I believe. They're trying to get the waiver out to Dave Regal. They are just battling for track position here. This is a last chance qualifier. In case you did not know, this is a last chance qualifier. Top 10 are going to advance. Andrew Layton and David Love are not in the session. Did not grid up for this, so everyone here is going to make it.
Okay. Yeah, Barrett Coffee will take the green here with a damaged race car, the 17, Jarrett Small on the outside, but the 24 contact between the 29 and the 17 going into turn 1. As 4, Barrett Coffee gets a huge lead now over second place 24 machine of Nicholas Breidenbach, and Yeah, they're back to single file racing now, going back to Randy Spivey, and I'm a little bit surprised that Spivey. Well, Spivey did just pit, so he's going to be on freshies now. He should be able to get past these guys with a little bit more grip once these tires warm up. He's probably going to be rocking and rolling and sailing off in the sunset.
What
So
an
it'll be interesting.
interesting move
Yeah,
to come in and hit and get your lap back. Kind of a little cheeky, you think?
yeah. But I don't know. It's it is, but it's a kind of exciting to watch him play catch up now. Um, I mean, obviously, I mean, he just blew away the 17 like he was sitting. I mean, of course, 17 is damaged, but I mean, there's no arrow at the track like this. But um,
Not even
it
cool down your brakes and the rotor's a little bit better to have that open air.
you could drive a dumpster down the track right now and not have any about arrow. But
Carl Edwards ran it in 1 minute
oh man,
on his 2 feet.
yeah. As Barrett Coffee still remaining out front, setting sail on that 24 machine of Nicholas Breidenbach, but that 22 machine of Randy Spivey knocking on 24's back door. I think just a matter of any lap here, and you'll see Randy up there to P2. So I mean, it's a matter of Randy not overdriving the car too. We've got to make sure too that he's got to make sure that these tires are going to last, and he also doesn't want to make the mistake of, okay, I've got fresh tires now, I have more of advantage, I'm going to be able to overdrive the car. You can't do that. You'll hit that wall. It'll come out and bite you in a hurry, or you'll take a car out and make somebody mad. So either way, he wants to make a clean pass on that 24, and sometimes it takes a little bit more patience.
As Breidenbach, he wants to take this for himself. He's going to hop to the inside and gets it a little sideways.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to get tight. Spivey.
Yeah, and go spinning. See, and what that was is Breidenbach got into the head of the 24 and just got him a little bit too nervous, I think, and because he knew he was coming, and and Breidenbach just took the wrong time to leave. See, there should have been a caution for that, but not that one prior with the 29.
That was the checkered.
That was a checkered, was it?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
they were under there.
My apologies.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, so that was who walked away from that win?
That's gonna be Barrett Coffee. Just barely gets out in front of Spivey by 0.69 seconds. That was a nice win by Barrett Coffee. Jarrett Small in third, Bob Nestor in fourth, Nicholas Breidenbach in fifth, Chris Claude finishing sixth, a couple laps down, Tony Burt in seventh, and then Dave Riegel had the right ideal. He parked it 27 laps down in eighth, Kevin Rourke 48 laps down, David Love and Andrew Layton.
Yeah. Well, we have a feature on our hands now, ladies and gentlemen out there watching. And again, we do appreciate you guys watching out there on YouTube. Definitely hit that like, subscribe, and share button, as it does help the YouTube algorithm for this league. We do have Joe Stafford starting up front here in the number 57 machine, outside Ryan Samuelson in the number 81 car. Alex Princeton and Austin Story make up row number 2. And then you have Raymond Root and John Buwalda III, Steve Cornez, Chad Sanner 8th and 9th, and Steve Dardaris 10, Gibson, Fink, and Spivey. And then you've got Small, Nestor, Claude, and Breidenbach rounding at the top 17. Chris Claude there in 17. So, yeah, the latter half of the field, Tony Burt, Dave Riegel, Kevin Rourke, and I don't think Barrett Coffee or Barrett Coffee is in it. David Love was the one who didn't grid. So there is going to be 21 cars in this feature. Look for some exciting laps ahead. Is the 57 machine last year's champion, gets that nice head start here and goes off into turn 1, sails it off in the sunset already. Got a half a second lead over everyone else. We do have a little bumper action. 81 machine gets spun around. We do have a caution on our hands here, and it looks like Ryan Samuelson might have got twisted up here. Let's take a replay and see what happened.
That was Seba Cornez and Ryan Samuelson involved. Up front, Nolan Hodgson. You can see they get checked up, and then the 54 just gets pushed, kind of bump drafted into the 81. Seba Cornez catches it on the back. We saw that a lot all during the race that NASCAR put on. Is they would, I recall Kyle Larson wrecking one of the new kids because he thought he got into him, and it turns out he was just bumped into him, and he had to pay for that. That's kind of what we saw there. I just got sailed into Ryan.
Yeah, and props to the 16 car driven by Seba Cornez, getting checked up in time, not adding insult to injury. Kind of, having full awareness of what was going on in front of him. Because you'll see sometimes where cars will just go barreling into him like it's Days of Thunder or something like that, and they think they're going to come out clean on the other end, and they just stack them up even worse. So good job by the 16 machine getting woed up in time there, and keeping everything a little bit more on the clean side. And but yeah, it'll get relined up here, and it looks like it will be Joe Stafford taking the green again here once they get the lights off on the I wanted to say police car just a moment ago. Pace car. Well, they're similar. 81.
Which car is that? I don't want to leave you hanging. I was listening to what they're talking about the mid-race break, if they're going to have it.
I almost called the pace car the police car.
It looks like it. Ford Fusion / I don't even think it's a Ford Fusion. I think iRacing just modeled, I think they took the car tomorrow and altered it, put it out there as the pace car. But it looks like a little Metro Police Ford Fusion car. It's got the siren. It's got the lights. I'm sure that's the same bar.
It's a Fusion-ish Tesla. I'm thinking it's more of the. I'm thinking it's kind of like on the Tesla family. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion, but
it's a Short Camaro.
Joe Stafford grabs the green once again as the 19 of Alex Princeton now in P2. And he's got the 8 of RJ Root at his back door. So we have some single file action once again here at LA Coliseum in the final feature. It's been pretty exciting thus far. I'm just happy to be here alongside James Riles as we get this broadcast for SNN. Another caution comes out. It's a number 22 machine of Randy Spivey. Not sure what happened there, if he just maybe missed a gear, or I don't know. Did he have any help there, James?
Well, it's the way it's looking. He did not.
Okay, so just a single car incident there, and but yeah, I appreciate everybody out there in the chat. We have quite a few people watching. Again, if you have any questions or you have a favorite driver out there that you want us to highlight, go ahead and mention them there in the comments section. We'd love to see who you're cheering for in this race, and we'd love to highlight them.
Yeah, because I'm starting to feel the pressure. I was watching NASCAR, and I was like, man, these guys are producing. They're not getting great shots. They're just staying on the back of random cars. I could do a better job than that. And I'm on here, and you can't find action on the track. to stay on because there's just so much going on around
Yeah.
the 0.25 mile track here at the LA Coliseum. As the lights are coming out, we're going to get a pretty good show. All those guys who painted their cars dark are going to start to see a little bit of benefit as they're going to dive to the inside covertly.
We have an Austin Story and Alex Princeton fan in the chat. Roll man out there cheering for those two. Austin Story driving that number 23 Toyota, and the that number 19 that I was commenting on earlier. Still, in my opinion, the prettiest car on the track. And you know, anybody that knows me, I don't give too many compliments to the Toyota camp much. But when it's a
Because
nice
you're old
looking
school, you don't like change.
I don't.
So it's the new
Bring back
Yodas.
Mopar. Bring back Mopar. Oh, all right, so 57 Joe Stafford grabs the lead. Oh, and then gets a little bit dicey between P2 through 4 there. Caution back out.
That one was the 17, Jarrett Small.
It's another car. Let's see. It might have been Randy Spivey getting it all wrong again. Somewhere here.
Yeah, Randy Spivey gets into the 17. Randy going to get out of that pretty much unscathed. 17 going to collect another vehicle in that. Yep. So I think now is as good a time as any, folks. Let's go ahead and go to a commercial break, and then when we bring it back, stay on board with these guys. Keep it here. All right, folks, we are back. We only missed one of the restarts here. Joe Stafford getting going with Raymond Root and Alex Princeton there behind him. John L. Spilwalda trying to make something happen in the 51 machine. Austin Story, and we are under caution again. This one going to be credited to Chad Sanner, as this is his second time getting it squirrely. Riel, give me one moment. Let me get the output back where it's supposed to be, and you are good to go.
Yeah, I've not seen anything regarding Chad in the box, but I'll take your word for it. Oh yeah, I do see it there in the replay now. Yeah, a little bit of a stack up there. Callie in the chat is cheering for Nolan Hodgson. Nolan Hodgson driving the 54 machine out there at Columbia Toyota. So I appreciate you chiming in there, Callie. Rollman wants to add another fan favorite out there of Joe Stafford. Yeah, you've got a really good selection of top tier drivers so far in this race.
Rollman must be cheering for the newly formed Propel racing team.
Yeah, I do believe he mentioned something about that earlier. Well, it could have been also. Oh, I think it might have been him. I'll get to know you all in the chat over time.
Definitely. Couple big name teams here. Joe Stafford used to be in 23 XI Racing. Then he moved down for a short period to field filler with Raymond Root and Austin Story are the two that they've got right now. But formed his own Propel Esports with Alex Princeton maybe in there. I'm not sure. I do know Austin Story is in there with them. And then a couple of the other teams. We got 10 Floor Racing. It's going to be Jarrett Small, who did not start. He's probably spotting for somebody. Benjamin Harp, currently spotting. Steve Dardaris. I know he's in here somewhere. They're in 14th position. Then David Love and Barrett Coffey.
It does look like Jarrett Small has packed it up and put it on the hauler.
Yes.
And called it a night. So Jarrett Small fans, bad news there. Yeah, in the chat they're saying Propel all the way and sending love. So we're back to green here once again. Joe Stafford with the button. Got RJ Root there on his outside in that number 8 machine. Settles in behind him. 19 does a little bit of blinking there, but gets back solid coming out of 3. As we do have a little bit of a battle between the 23 and the 51 machine starting to shape up now. Austin Story on the inside of the 51, went into turn 3 and 4. Who's going to have the upper edge here as they're still side by side? Coming in 1 and 2.
Yeah, as we see Austin Story finally get by John Espawalda, and they're right behind him. Joey Gibson smokes the inside. Another Propel Esports driver. 72, Tony Burt making a pretty good comeback in that primer. Oh, I cursed him. We're not going to talk about that. Dave Regal. Oh, there. Yeah, folks, a lot of action going on. I do appreciate you. So tell us in the chat if you said you were a setup builder. First of all, plug your company. Just this one time, plug your company there in the chat and tell us what it's like building setups for these Gen 7s. As can we call them next gen now officially as they're the current gen?
I don't want to accept this.
It's changed.
I'm still in the Underbird era. Alan Kowicki all the way. As the caution goes back out, it looks like John Espawalda III was involved in this one, in that 51 machine. Let's see what happened to him. As looks like he just darted. Okay, got a little heavy on the gas coming off the corner. Didn't collect anybody with him. So good news there.
Look at the simultaneous spins from Chad Sanner and Tony Burt. This is interesting.
Okay. Let me back him up a little bit here.
We're going to watch it on the replay there. See Tony Burt getting it a little sideways. There's John Espawalda. As that was maybe a moot point. That wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to look, folks. But they are on opposite ends, opposite ends, both of them spinning to bring out the caution. If anything, Tony probably brought out the caution because he was close to that vicinity of the next car. So 40 laps down of 150 here.
Only 110 to go.
Roman says not a setup shop guy, just build sets for his teams. Well, if you're building sets for Joe Stafford, I know that you know your stuff for sure. Because Joe always is the tweaker. He's in here tweaking his setups and getting them to the front. So definitely appreciate y'all. Again, folks, this is brought to you by Davis Brothers Roofing. I have not given them enough shout outs as I should have today. Davis Brothers Roofing, of course, Buttkicker. If you want to feel the action of all this stuff going on, you want to feel that rumble, you can really get into it. It gives you an extra feedback using those butt kickers. I've got one on my rig. Love it. Whenever I get the opportunity to race, plug in that butt kicker, put on the VR, and I'm in the car. So you can...
Man, you almost made a piece of poetry there.
Oh, yes. You can imagine what I can do when I'm trying. Romeo. Actually, not like Romeo. He's kind of the guy who didn't do too hot there at the end. Shakespeare, there we go. Joe Stafford shaking things up. Into the inside of Raymond Root.
Go shake and bake there for just a second, but I'm glad you didn't.
But you did. It's like saying not to mention, and then saying,
right,
and then mentioning
exactly.
the thing that you're not mentioning.
I accidentally on purpose did that. As we're back up front.
I'm gonna pistol whip the next dude who says shenanigans.
I said that a couple of times earlier. I'm sorry.
No.
That number 8 it started looking prettier and prettier under the lights. It wasn't. To me, it wasn't popping earlier with the sun. It is now under the lights. I mean, just look at that paint shining. Whoever did that paint job, good job on the nighttime setup for that.
That would be RJ Root in Outkast Sim Paints, another sponsor. There, he does all those paints. Does a fantastic job. If you saw him last season in the '69 car, absolutely one of the better looking cars on the track almost every single time.
Yeah, and it's on the right brand of car too. It's on a Mustang, on a Ford. So definitely good taste and manufactures the paint there too.
Ford makes paint?
No. Good manufacturer to paint.
Oh, okay.
Nice choice of car.
Oh, okay. So I thought, because Ford, they always flake out. It'd be a good paint manufacturer as well.
They're first on race day, so if you want a good paint job to be in victory lane, Ford would be the car to do it. As it looks like we're under caution once more. Steve Dardere is possibly involved in this one. As we're roll it back here once again and see what that number 3 machine got involved in. It looks like he just got coming off the hairpin turn there. Didn't collect anybody in the process. That's good news there.
Well, as that was happening, William Fink gets loose. And then on his recovery, he's a little bit lower on entry. Doesn't realize the speed he's carrying. Takes out the 21 of Dave Regal in the process. And then Steve Dardere is probably in the checkup is when he got that thing a little sideways.
Boy, oh boy.
Maybe he was trying to enter pit road as fast and as cool as he could.
Oh, but I thought that was the safe place to enter.
It is, unless you do it like a cool person. So, Anthony Burt, he says, go Tony Burt, I love you. Heart your wife. You got hacked, Anthony. She's got your Facebook login. Be a bro and warn you. Just kidding. Tony Burt, shout out to the wives, boyfriends, husbands, girlfriends that let these drivers get out here and do that, and let them get out here and do this race and sit in the sim. You guys are the real MVPs for letting us do this crazy hobby.
I know I wouldn't have it any other way. If I was in a relationship, I would that would be a deal breaker if I wasn't allowed to do iRacing.
It's
That's
a
just the way I.
interesting group. I know my wife, she's in the other room right now, and bet she's taking this time to watch her scary movies that I don't like to watch. There's Joe
Oh,
Stafford and
I
Raymond
love
Root
horror.
there. Well, you guys get along then.
Yeah, yeah, the Conjuring series and all that stuff. I love them.
So,
But
folks, we do appreciate you. Again, we've said it 100 times, but this is what you get. I know the Coliseum, they have not gotten the yellow flag situation sorted out. We're just finding stuff to talk about. I know we got a lot of stuff on the upcoming season here at Sim Racing Media on Sunday Night NASCAR. Of course, if you are watching us on YouTube, you're seeing Esports Broadcasting Network, company we acquired. We have loved being able to bring you as many races as we've got going on. Tomorrow I'll be putting out a schedule, but a lot of good things happening here. A lot of good things happening at Sunday Night NASCAR. They're going to be able to bring you door-to-door racing action all season long. They're going to start in 2 weeks at the duels of Daytona. With Alex Brinson and 23 of Austin Story battling here.
the duels are always so exciting. I love the duels. That's one of my favorite races of the season. So, that hopefully, the guys from here will carry some momentum going into that one. With a win tonight, having that extra pep in their step going into Daytona for Speed Weeks, and hopefully having some success there. But Joe Stafford just seems like the guy to beat, and being the former champion that he is, I mean, he is definitely living up to that expectation and standard once more, just for that Propel team, propelling it up into P1 time and time again. Just couldn't ask for a better driver to just finesse this car around the track, just lighten it up. So those of you Propel team fanatics out there, you should be proud at this point, as he's getting ready to put some cars a lap down. Chris Claude would be the next one to do the honors of taking a lap down in that Dasani water machine. As we do have
no.
a 51
Boy.
getting spun around there. I wonder if he had any in that matter. 51 machine driven by John Esbawalda.
That was the 54 of Nolan helping him out.
Okay.
Getting him around. As RJ and Joe just barely get out of that thing. In fact, RJ may have hit him a little bit with that new composite body that the next gen have. So bringing that up, and we talked a little bit earlier about, hey, why are they doing this clash? Why aren't they doing it at Daytona like they always do, et cetera, et cetera. Here's my take on it. This is your conspiracy theory 101. They went to the clash because they knew that these manufacturers do not have the parts they need to rebuild a car before Daytona. So what they decided to do was come to a place that was small, come to a place where they couldn't damage these cars too much. That way everybody has the opportunity to go to Daytona with extra parts that they may need after the duels. Because Kevin Harvick said it himself. He says, we don't really have a backup car for these things. We got parts to fix what we got, and we got a backup body.
Wow.
So, something to keep in mind there is that I believe a lot of the teams, they have extra, like I said, extra parts, but I don't know if they're going to be able to go to the backup car after the duels, and more on that is going to come out as all this happens. As Rollman, geez Louise, you got JC Gibson P5th, Stephen Cornez in 6th, and in 7th, Nicholas Bryden.
Yep. You should be proud out there. You got plenty of plenty of reasons to cheer for your drivers tonight, as they are definitely putting on a good show tonight here at LA Coliseum. And I have a little bit of a trivia question for you guys out there watching tonight. What is the other track that is also known as a Coliseum? Go ahead and type that track in below. We'll see who the first one comes up with that one, as it looks like Joe Stafford once more out there leading the way in front of the 8 machine of RJ Root as they come down into turns 1 and 2 once more. And it looks like Austin Story in P3 now. It's a little bit racy further back as they get stacked up. The 16, I think, gets a little bit loose there. And yeah, there's quite a bit of racing activity back there mid-pack.
Yeah, that's going to be Stephen Cornez, Randy Spivey, and Owen Hodgson trying to not get freight trained on the outside, but unfortunately that is going to be the case as Seba falls back to 9th. Ryan Samuelson gets into the 24 of Nicholas Breidenbach. That was very unfortunate as we are on... Oh, that was he didn't get into him because of he caused it. He got into him because the 24 spun out there. Because they still have not got this thing sorted out.
No, and it's a 24 is just hanging tight, just making sure he doesn't collect anybody else. That's sportsmanship there. I mean, you don't want to just back the car up. You can't see what's going on and who's coming around the corner. He's probably waiting for somebody to give him a go ahead, and that's a good move, and that's a class act by the 24 machine. In fact, I mean, I've penalized drivers here recently in a different league just for not yielding and just not taking into consideration traffic coming around the corner and just hit them head on because you need to get spun around. And you got to wait for the right time to do it, and it may not be a great time for you, but you don't want to take out 43 other drivers. I mean, in this case, 20 other cars trying to do it. So 24 machine driven by Samuelson, that's definitely a classy thing to do there. As looks like we do have Nicholas Breidenbach I was talking about. He's down on pit road. Looks like he might be grabbing some fresh tires as we speak here. And Barrett Coffee on pit road as well for service in that number 4 machine.
Yeah, it definitely is. That service, he's going to get tires and come back out. I do know that the 24 Breidenbach's going to make his way back out. Raymond Root, Joe Stafford going to lead us around for the 8th time, I believe. As Raymond's up 3 position, Austin is up 3. Biggest mover of the night is going to be the 99 of Kevin Rourke. They're in 8th position as the green flag comes out. Joe Stafford and Raymond Root. Austin Story and Alex Princeton. Ryan Samuelson, Jason Gibson looking to the inside of Ryan. And that's a slick propel paint job there. Red tires really popping.
I wonder if Kevin Rourke is any relation to Carl Rourke, who races in my league. As it looks like Steve Dardaris was involved in this latest caution.
That's Raymond Root possibly going a lap down if he doesn't get this sorted out.
Uh-oh.
Went from 2nd place all the way here. Let's see what caused that. Yes, he just gets it bent out of shape there. Yes, folks, we're going to take another commercial break. Stay right with us.
Davis Brothers has been providing homeowners and businesses with exceptional roofing services since 1983. From repairing roofs on small homes to installing new roofs on large commercial retailers, no job is too big or too small. Your home is an important part of your life, and your roof is an essential part of your home. We understand that. Whether you're inspecting, repairing, or replacing your roof, we'll treat your home like it's our very own. Low slope, steep slope, big or small, it doesn't matter, we do them all. And remember, we have the capabilities and the manpower to take on any size job. When it comes to your roof, it's important to be proactive. Choose an experienced roofer you can trust. At Davis Brothers Roofing, we are your experienced roofer. Contact us today for a consultation and let us earn your trust.
You know that guy? The one who, just minutes before the green flag, keys up his mic and asks, "Anybody got a setup?" Well, this is him. This is Adam. And Adam needs some help. This, on the other hand, is Steve. Steve is a solid racer, and he knows his way around the garage. Steve's problem is time. With a job and a family, he can't find enough time to build competitive setups and to race as often as he likes. But Steve knows a secret. Steve lets our crew chiefs do the setup work so he can focus on the racing. At majorsgarage.com, Steve can get setups for over 50 cars on the iRacing service, so no matter what series he wants to jump into, he is covered. Somebody really should tell Adam.
Choose 4D Cinemas powered by Buttkicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Buttkicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Buttkicker and feel what you've been missing.
All right, folks, thanks for sticking around with us there during those commercials, supporting those that support this league. Of course, Davis Brothers Roofing, Inville Insurance Group, and Major's Garage. We appreciate all those guys helping us out for the Sunday Night NASCAR League. As Winter Racing, you haven't missed Joe Stafford, but you have missed him stepping it out on Austin Story. Alex Princeton still has his name in the mix, and Ryan Samuelson avenging the teammate of RJ Root, and we've got another caution.
Yeah, it looks like that number 8 machine of Raymond Root again. Maybe the 3 cars got collected, I don't know, but 3 car is down on pit road for service, possible repairs as well. As we do appreciate you joining us tonight out there in the audience. Don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe button, and comment below about your fix up the algorithms for not only SRM and ESPN, but also for the league itself too, getting a little bit more visibility, and their sponsors. But yeah, the replay there of the 8 machine getting spun around. I know he had a pretty car all night long, and well, not so pretty these days, or this minute, I should say, huh?
Definitely not. As I know I told you guys about our current productions. Of course, right now we got Sunday Night NASCAR here on Sundays, as well as ISNF and Fuel Racing, Fired Up Esports League. Rowdy iRacing East is coming back Monday after the Daytona 500. Then, of course, we got Clean Racing, Maestro's Classic ARCA on Monday as well. Extreme Truck Series on Tuesday. Western States Racing League has made its way back to us. We're very happy to have them, the oldest running NASCAR series, or NASCAR iRacing series, unofficially, of course. They have been racing since 1999 together under that same banner, so quite the long league there. Then we got an All-American Racing League on Tuesdays, Ghost Racing on Wednesdays. USR Racing made its debut in the TNT Truck Series with Frank and Tony there in the booth there. And then Circle B Diecast on Friday with Kool-Aid Monster Motorsports Friday as well. Resurgence Saturday. And then also today, I didn't realize we had 4 shows on Sundays, but iFormula made its debut. So if you want to watch some F1 Formula racing, the best in the business, that's where you are going to find it. And it's Joe Stafford has had plenty of practice doing this, Rhea.
Yeah, brings him back to green once again, as he's got heat this time. The 23 machine of Austin Story right on the back bumper of that 57 car as they go around on back onto the front stretch. Stafford still with, commanding, I would say at this point, yeah, commanding lead. But we have another caution once again. Looks like maybe a Dave Regal incident. As I will check that out once again here. Looks like the 54 machine, or no, I should say the 21 machine might have had an incident here. No, it was already stacked up in front of him. So the 51 and the 93 possibly.
Ooh, the 93.
Take a look at them.
Coming in hot. I don't know if he lost his brakes or what, but that was William Fink going into the one guy you do not want to do that to. Because that's exactly what happened. He lost his brakes, saw the wrecking happening up to the left, and then had the issue. But I am standing outside now magically. Outside the Infield Care Center with RJ Root, who has mercifully been released and is going to be able to head home. Tell us about the track and what was going on, man. Second to a lap down pretty quick there.
Yeah, we were running into an issue of having too many incident points from 2 netcode 4Xs. So when I ended up I self-spun, pushing too hard to keep up with Joe, and just went ahead and got my 2X out of the way. So I got the penalty, served the drive-through, was two down, got back to being one down, and just got killed coming out of turn two, and I had 8 minutes of required. So we're not even going to go back out on the track.
Well, no worries, RJ. I know that you were having a really good run up until that point. I think it was just a matter of getting tired. Tell us about the how important it is to get in a rhythm here.
It is very hard to get into a rhythm. I know it's one of those that there's not really anywhere to set a breaking point off of. I mean, really, you're kind of just guessing into each corner, and so it's hard to get a solid rhythm going, and having nonstop cautions makes it even harder.
For sure. Well, Raymond, I know you've got the 8 machine on there. I remember you had that on when your father, or your grandfather, I'm sorry, passed away. Are we doing away with the 69 machine? Are we looking at the number 8 of Raymond Root for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we're gonna be running the 8 for the rest of the season. The 8 is more of my preferred number, and also it was my grandfather was a Junior fan, so I wanted to keep it going with the 8.
Definitely. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear from you again. I know I'll be talking to you a ton throughout the race, or throughout the racing season. Are you looking forward to Daytona, getting in these next gens with the upgraded package?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I really love how the cars have been driving since the update, and I've heard that Daytona's a lot better. And I'm really excited for the team, for Edge Setup Shops, everything to take off.
Yeah, definitely. I know that I watched the Circle B Diecast Super Speedways. I talked about it earlier. They did a next gens at Talladega, and it was some absolutely fantastic racing. I will tell you, give you a little bit of input. The top line was the dominant line. It was odd. Never seen it in my life. I'll probably never see it again. But if you have a chance and you want some input, go check those series out. Circle B Diecast here on Esports Broadcasting Network. But also another good thing, when these things spin at the super speedways, they are glued to the track. You are not pinballing through as you would usually. So I'm looking forward to it as well, I guess, long story short.
Alrighty.
Well, RJ, appreciate you coming in again, man, and good luck going to the duels and everything else in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
That was RJ Root, Field Filler Racing. Be heading to the hauler, getting this thing out of here, is driving down the streets of LA. Get back to it. Go ahead.
Looks like Chad Sanner had an early out as well. Put it on the hauler and beaten traffic out of or at the Coliseum, I should say. Yeah, my heart goes out to RJ family regarding the loss of his grandpa. I'd lost mine just less than 3 months ago, and it's still, I carry a heavy heart, and it seems like the tragic irony of a same story within a lot of the iRacing community where they've lost their grandfather, specifically all around the same time that I lost mine. So we're all in this together, guys, and life is short. Tell the ones that you are close to that you love them. Tomorrow's not promised, and don't take anything for granted out there. Tell people you love them and be good to people. But we do have Joe Stafford out there in the lead still, and I know that the crowd is cheering for Austin Story to get up there and get some battling going on between those two machines, as we may end up seeing that before the end of this race. I think the 23 car might be saving us a little bit of something, especially with this lap traffic now that's starting to come into play, as we had a lot of cautions throughout this race, and lap traffic just hasn't been really the jam, but it's starting to now. But we're back under caution again, so just as I said that, of course, broadcasting curse brings out a caution once again, and it looks like it might have been a Tony Burt incident.
Yeah, it looks like Tony just got it all. We said got it all wrong about 15,000 times today, but that's about all you can say here. I mean, with the short track, you can't really blame the car. You can't blame, most of the time, somebody, when they get into you here, they're getting it all wrong. So, a lot of drivers having to take it to the hauler. Tony Burt as well is going to be able to join his wife, and probably not going to finish this thing.
Joseph Lester also packing it up, put it on the hauler, and going out on the I-10 expressway to head back to their home camp.
Joseph Lester?
Yeah, according to... Oh, I do have a Joseph Lester in here. But apparently he's not on the grid. Okay, so I misspoke, but I do have a Joseph Lester that packed it up too, for some reason. But RJ Root did too. Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting this information.
That is, yeah, Joseph Lester has not been in this race. He is a broadcaster for us.
That's interesting. Yeah, because it's saying that he, packed it up and put it on the hauler like everyone else.
He was probably spotting for somebody.
Gotcha. All right. So, well, he packed it up and put it on the hauler with the people that he was spotting for. So I wasn't far off.
Yeah, no, not at all. He had to get in the hauler just like everybody else.
May not have been driving, but he's definitely part of the crew. The crew's got to eat too, so they're going to go out and get maybe an In-N-Out burger on the way out of LA.
I'm going to get an In-N-Out burger in Dallas. Never had one, and I've heard that it's one of those things.
Well, it is one of those things, and you have to do it right. And, those watching who have had In-N-Out burger, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to go animal style. Go big or go home. Say it isn't true.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so you'll have to watch a YouTube video so you can understand this. Joe Stafford still up front, but Austin Story was trying desperately to get to the inside of him and overdrove the car. Did save it, but he lost a lot of time in the process. Now he's got heat from Samuelson and Gibson behind him it gets a little bit heated there with the 27 of Gibson. Yeah, Propel bangs the inside retaining wall trying to make it happen, but lost a little bit of ground to Barrett Coffee in the process. Well, Barrett Coffee now running P4 in the number 4 machine. Ryan Samuelson now P3, and then Austin Story P2, and Joe Stafford still leading the way here at LA Coliseum with only about 17 laps or so to go.
Yeah, 18 laps to go here. This has been the story. Joe Stafford out front. Pretty much the only time that this win has been under fire is when he comes up upon a wreck. Like, oh my gosh, like that just happened. Who?
So this was a Nicholas Bradenbach incident, the 51, Dorchek the 24. Not sure if that was intentional. I'll leave that up to the review process board, but I mean, wow.
Yeah, and then a self-inflicted wound there. As you see Joe Stafford go high, Austin Story able to go low. Excuse me, folks. But yeah, Nicholas gonna make it back after an hour and a half of racing here. I don't know if anybody's doing anything intentionally. Again, hard to
gauge that, but some people are probably just tired too.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of muscle because you're going, especially if you have these really good force feedback wheels and you have it dialed in. If you're using a lot of force feedback, it's almost like you're arm wrestling at the end of each end of this track because it's that hard. Like you said earlier, it's a 75-degree angle. So when you're going down there and you're wrestling, it's like you're arm wrestling that wheel, especially because it's force feedback. So it's hard work. My arm, like I said, is extremely sore from racing earlier. These guys have put on heat races on top of the feature. I didn't even do anything like a heat race earlier. So they got more laps on me. I feel for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's we're seeing 13 laps to go. So they are gonna almost have some respite here.
And last call for anyone watching out there, type in the comment section for the night's trivia question. What is the other track that NASCAR goes to that is also named a Coliseum? But I will give you a hint. It may be spelled different.
Oh, you gonna do me like that? You gonna steal my thing that we talked about off air?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just,
You steal my thunder.
there we go. I try not to. It's Austin Story and Joe Stafford. We're trying to wait on this battle, but it's just not happening. Ryan Samuelson, however, going to dive to the inside of Barrett Coffey with 10 laps to go. I think somebody was getting it out of shape in the back there. I don't know if we're going to have a caution. But Joe Stafford going to take his set of sights on Austin Story. Barrett Coffey not too far behind. I know. Oh, there is a car there. That was J.C. Gibson, but he made it down pit road.
Oh, he lost an incredible amount of spots. He was running in the top 5 when he got, looks like he may just towed in and just called it good because he just could not get the car to turn back onto the track. Rollman with the proper answer. Bristol is the correct answer for tonight's trivia question. Bristol, also known as the last Coliseum, is spelled different thanks to James Riles bringing that to my attention during a commercial break. But, yeah.
Because there's only one Coliseum, and it is in ancient Rome. So they
Correct.
don't. Everything else is a Coliseum lowercase. Just FYI. I only know that because I recently learned it.
So you've been studying Greek history.
Yes. No. Because LA was at the Coliseum, and somebody shared a picture of the real last Coliseum of Bristol, and I noticed that it was spelled differently, so I looked it up. So I've been having to spell Coliseum 1,000 times this week, and I get it wrong every time. As Bob Nestor goes to the inside, Nolan Hodgkinson, or the opposite, the other way around. Joe Stafford stepped it out. He's got about a second and a half. Only thing he's got left to do is lap cars with 3 laps to go. Should be over in less than a minute. Austin Story kind of gapped it over Samuelson, but he's got some lap traffic. They're going to stay high.
Oop, 29 car gets it all wrong a little bit there. Bob Nestor, yeah. And a little bit of tag action between the 51 and the 93. That looked a little bit intentional as he's kind of nudging him out of the way. Not sure what's going on there. Just probably tempers flaring, a little bit of exhaustion setting in.
Well, the NASCAR drivers all race were saying that that's the only way you can pass, really, between 2 evenly matched cars. You got to use the bumper, get them moved out of the line. As Joe Stafford takes the checkered flag, Austin Story comes around in second. Ryan Samuelson unable to get to the back bumper. No, starting third. Barrett Coffey and Alex Princeton. What a race by Alex Princeton and Ryan Samuelson to stay up there. But there you go. Joe Stafford going to get the bump from Ryan Samuelson. The old congratulatory pop. Are we going to see another drift?
Yeah, it's a fantastic race. It's been a pleasure to, commentate on this event. And that was a dominating win by that number 57 Chevrolet there, driven by Joe Stafford. Just punctuating that championship dub last season. You know, coming in here, rocking it with another dub at the LA Coliseum. Congratulations, winning the Busch Clash. But Austin Story and Ryan Samuelson, your other pitchers, and he is drifting pretty well. Well, he had a pretty good drift going on there. Now I think he's just doing straight up burnouts there on the logo of a food carrier business. So, are you ready to do some post race interviews or?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to make it pretty quick here. We are at the 2-hour mark of the broadcast. If we can, pretty quick. Let's go ahead and talk to our third place finisher, Ryan Samuelson. Ryan, hope you had a good off season, buddy. It's the first time of many I'm sure I'm gonna be talking to you.
Yeah, hopefully so.
So, tell me about the race. Keep it short because we have gone over just a little bit, if you can possibly.
I'll try. Basically, the whole race was just recover from lap 2. I got spun. Whatever happened there happened, and then worked my way back up to. I'll take third. I didn't think I had anything for Joe at the end, and I was just kind of hoping not to make contact with anyone. I was sitting with like 3 instant points left till I got a penalty, so I was fine with third at that point, just for the hell of it.
Definitely. Well, man, I'm sure we're going to be talking to you. It must feel good to get a podium and get things rolling here for this season. Tell us who's on the car and who you want to shout out for tonight.
I've got Haydenhurst Mental Health Foundation. Mental health is something that's very big and important to me, so give a shout to them. Remember, you are not alone. Edge Racing Setup Shop, Magic, Gymscape Apparel. We're at Gymscape through this sweaty race. This is a tough race, especially when you gotta run. And thanks you guys, and also my boys at Field Filler. And oh yeah, shout to Joe. Awesome. I was raced with him last night. Dominated that as well. Great job, Joe.
Definitely. Well, we'll talk to you later, Ryan.
Yep.
All right, next we got our second place finisher of Austin Story. Austin coming up 4 positions, but you're up at the front pretty much the whole time. Tell us about the race and the finish.
It was a great race. I had a lot of fun. The finish was amazing. This track is amazing. This league is amazing. Everything's amazing.
And I'm in my family cuz. Sorry, I've been
Amazing.
watching too much in Kanto. Thought that's what you were referencing. Not everybody has 2 girls under 5. But yeah, so it was a good, amazing race, is what I'm hearing. You had so much fun.
Uh-huh.
So tell us about these next gen cars and the brakes or something.
The next-gen brakes are amazing. You know, you can really get into the corner really, really hard with the brakes. Brakes are really amazing. I actually want to shout out a few people. I want to shout out Michael Jordan for letting me race his car. Leo Bonacasa, Joseph Lester, Alex Breeson, Nolan Hodgson. Everyone's great. Everyone's great. My team's great this year. Everyone's great. Shout out to Joe. He's great too. Well, he's amazing. Who else? Chris Claude. He's amazing.
Rhea, do you ever feel like you're just on the cusp of getting the joke, but you're not a part of it? Austin, am I not amazing?
You are amazing.
Is Rhea not amazing?
Rhea is amazing.
All right.
I don't know about that.
You heard it here first. Austin, he shouted out everybody you were going to get to. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the rest of this amazing season, sir.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah.
All right, next we got our race winner of the initial exhibition here at the LA Coliseum. Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you, guys.
Rhea, I'm gonna let you take over this one. Keep it.
You had a dominating win, and coming off of a series championship last season, it's just a way to really put the cherry on the top of that sundae and punctuate that feat. Bring us through, bring us through the Busch Clash. You had a dominating car all night long. Didn't matter if it was a heat race or the feature. Did you put in a lot of practice this week leading into it? First of all,
Yeah, I actually had a lot of practice going into this race. A lot of guys on my team and affiliates with my team: Austin Story, Joe Lester, Nicholas Breidenbach, JC Gibson, Kevin Rourke. Everyone in the Propel Discord, they've put a lot of work in at this track, and it paid off. Everyone had a really good night. I actually had a race yesterday night and did pretty well there. So yeah, and I got out on the wrong foot, spun it, self-spun, and he won. Couldn't believe I got back up there, but it was fun.
yeah. I mean, so what caused you to just be that much faster as far as tonight with all the traffic? Then, did you have some teammates out there during some practice test sessions to kind of navigate around the cars, because you had it completely figured out tonight, because you would see a lot of people accidentally door checking another one or turning them. It looked like it would be a bump and run if it was an ordinary short track event. Being a new track like this that no one really has much of a handle or grip on yet, it's easy to just say that it was probably a racing deal. But for you, you just weren't even getting racing deals. What just kept you away from all of that mayhem tonight?
Yeah, I think it was being patient. I was trying to be a real patient around the lap cars, and I raced with these guys last season, a lot of them, and I know how to pick and choose my battles. And yeah, just being patient, carrying a lot of speed through the center of the corner, having the nose pointed off really helped me with time, and I think I made up a lot of time doing that.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the win, my friend. This was my first time broadcasting for this league, but I look forward to many more in the future and seeing what else you can do out there during the regular season. Before we let you go, who else do you have out there to thank, sponsor-wise, teammate-wise, et cetera, before we let you go?
Yeah, first of all, my parents or my family group chat before the race or after my heat race, I went in there and checked in. They said you guys were doing a really good job in the booth, so good job. And I would like to thank everyone at Propel, FFR. I would like to thank my sponsors, Chester Water Authority, and everyone that runs this league. This league has been very fun, and yeah, thank you guys too.
Well, we appreciate it. It was our pleasure, and congratulations on the dub. Go celebrate, and we'll see you again here real soon next week.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, folks, that's going to do it here in the booth. Rhea, I appreciate the heck out of you for joining me. In a couple weeks, we got Daytona coming up. I know it's going to be a fun one, and I'm excited about seeing these next gens and how these guys can handle them moving back and forth. Did you have a good time? Are you excited moving forward?
Yeah, I really am. I'm anxious to see what these guys can do on a track with a little bit more elbow room out there. So we'll see what they got this season.
Yeah, about 90% more elbow room. As it's gonna be quite the contrast.
I mean, this makes Martinsville look like New Hampshire at this point. I mean, it's just
not 90%, 9 times, 10 times more, so 1,000%. It's been too long since I left school, folks. On that note, we're gonna go ahead and let you guys go. We appreciate everybody who showed up and to watch this thing. You guys are shouting out. As always, we'd like to thank Davis Brothers Roofing, Neville Insurance Group, and Maestro, or the Majors Garage. And guys, stick around, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
bless.